The subterranean command center stretched beneath the Rocky Mountain range like a steel-lined nerve center of human survival. Quantum dampening fields hummed softly, creating a bubble of absolute silence that no external signal could penetrate. Admiral Elena Rodriguez studied the holographic star charts with an intensity that spoke of generations of preparation. The walls around her were more than mere barriers. Each centimeter was a testament to humanity's most closely guarded secret, a defense network decades in the making. Embedded nanomaterials created a living, breathing system of technological resilience that would make any alien civilization tremble. Outside the complex, the Colorado landscape appeared unchanged. Snow-capped peaks and dense pine forests concealed the most advanced military installation in human history. Local residents knew nothing of the underground marvel, believing the mountain base to be nothing more than a standard military research facility. Rodriguez's fingers traced the quantum-encrypted data streams, each line of code representing years of silent development. The Tselnaga hegemony had made a critical mistake. They had underestimated humanity's capacity for patient, ruthless preparation. "System check," she commanded softly. A holographic interface materialized, displaying a near-perfect defensive grid that covered not just the solar system, but extended strategic points beyond. Each node represented a weapon platform, a communication hub, or a defensive shield that could activate in milliseconds. The alien collective was coming. 10,000 warships that had conquered hundreds of civilizations, their technological superiority unquestioned across multiple star systems. They saw humanity as nothing more than another primitive species, a momentary distraction in their galactic conquest. They were about to learn the true meaning of underestimation. Deep within the complex, research teams had been working in absolute secrecy. Quantum computing systems that could process more information in a microsecond than entire alien civilizations could in a standard year. Adaptive weapon systems that could recalibrate faster than biological minds could comprehend. Defense mechanisms that turned the very laws of physics into humanity's ultimate weapon. Rodriguez remembered the early days. The initial warnings from deep space monitoring stations. The first intercepted alien communications that suggested an impending invasion. While political leaders had debated and diplomatic channels remained frozen in bureaucratic inaction, the military had acted. Not with panic, not with fear, with cold, calculated preparation. Every satellite placed in orbit was a potential weapon. Every communication network a possible trap. Every seemingly innocent scientific research project contained layers of military application that would make the approaching alien fleet reconsider their invasion. The quantum camouflage that surrounded the mountain complex pulsed with a muted, almost invisible glow. To any external scanner, this would appear as nothing more than natural geological formation. But beneath the surface, humanity's most advanced defense system waited. Preliminary invasion trajectory confirmed, a computer-generated voice announced. Rodriguez's lips formed the slightest hint of a smile. The collective believed they were bringing overwhelming force. They didn't realize they were sailing into a meticulously constructed ambush that had been generations in the making. The star charts continued to update. Alien fleet movements calculated and recalculated. Defensive positions adjusted with microscopic precision. Humanity had transformed waiting into an art form of strategic preparation. 10,000 warships approached. They would find something entirely unexpected. They would find humanity. The research facility buried beneath the New Mexico desert was more than just a laboratory. It was the crucible of human innovation, a place where the boundaries of science and survival blurred into a singular, desperate purpose. Dr. Jack Harrison stood before a wall of quantum processors, each module representing a breakthrough that would have been considered impossible just decades earlier. His fingers, calloused from years of precision work, traced the intricate neural network of adaptive computing systems that formed the backbone of humanity's defense strategy. The room hummed with a carefully controlled energy, temperature regulated to within a fraction of a degree, electromagnetic shielding that could block everything from solar radiation to quantum-level interference. Every inch of the facility was a testament to human ingenuity, a silent promise that humanity would not go quietly into extinction. Harrison's team represented the best of human diversity. Dr. Maria Rodriguez, a quantum physicist whose work on entanglement communication had revolutionized long-distance data transmission. Michael Wong, a systems engineer who could redesign entire computational frameworks faster than most people could write an email. Elena Kaminsky, a materials scientist who had developed metamaterials that could bend light and energy in ways that defied classical physics. The key isn't raw processing power, Harrison often told his team. It's adaptability. We're not building a weapon. We're building a living, thinking defense system. Each computer module represented more than just hardware. They were the neural pathways of a global defense network that could think, predict, and respond faster than any biological intelligence. Machine learning algorithms developed by the team could analyze potential invasion scenarios in microseconds, developing countermeasures before an attack could even be conceived. The global network extended far beyond this single facility. Quantum-linked communication nodes were secretly integrated into civilian infrastructure worldwide. Satellite systems that appeared to be nothing more than communication and GPS networks were actually part of an intricate defensive web. Every cell phone tower, every internet backbone, every seemingly mundane piece of technology contained layers of defensive capability. Harrison pulled up a holographic display, showing the potential approach vectors of the alien collective. Red lines represented potential invasion routes, each intersected by complex mathematical models that predicted and countered potential strategies. "We've been preparing for this moment for generations," he muttered, more to himself than to anyone else in the room. The development had not been without cost. Billions of dollars in secret funding. Entire careers dedicated to a project that most of the world would never know existed. Families of researchers who understood the absolute necessity of maintaining complete secrecy. Michael Wong approached with a new set of computational models. "Look at this," he said, highlighting a series of adaptive algorithms. "We've developed a system that can predict and counter alien communication frequencies before they even complete a transmission." It was more than just defensive technology. It was a complete reimagining of warfare, of survival, of humanity's place in the universe. Dr. Rodriguez pointed to a complex quantum entanglement model. Traditional communication has limitations, but by using quantum-linked systems, we can create a defense network that operates beyond traditional understanding of time and space. The facility was a microcosm of human potential. Engineers worked alongside theoretical physicists. Computer scientists collaborated with materials experts. Every discipline merged into a singular purpose, ensuring humanity's survival. Outside, the New Mexico desert remained unchanged. Cacti stood silent under the blazing sun. Military-grade camouflage systems kept the facility invisible to any external scanning technology. To the world, this was nothing more than another research station. But beneath the surface, humanity was preparing for a war that would define its existence. Each line of code was a weapon, each algorithm a potential shield, every breakthrough a testament to human resilience. The alien collective was coming. They had no idea what was waiting for them. The moment of first contact was nothing like anyone had predicted. Deep space monitoring stations, disguised as routine astronomical research facilities, had been tracking the collective's approach for months. Each station was a marvel of human engineering, seemingly simple observatories that concealed layers of advanced detection technology capable of analyzing quantum-level communications and hyperspace intrusions. Commander Sarah Nakamura sat in the primary observation deck of the Deep Space Monitoring Center, located in the remote highlands of Chile. Her team was a carefully selected group of specialists who had trained for years for this exact moment. Linguists, quantum physicists, communication experts, and strategic analysts worked in perfect synchronization. The alien fleet's approach was mathematically precise. 10,000 warships moving with a mechanical perfection that spoke of generations of technological refinement. Their communication bands began to pulse with messages of impending conquest, broadcasts that had broken the spirits of countless civilizations before humanity. Analyzing communication patterns, Dr. Robert Chen called out, his fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. The monitoring center was a study in control tension. Each team member understood the weight of their task. These were not just communications to be interpreted. They were the first direct interaction between humanity and a civilization that had conquered hundreds of worlds. Linguistic algorithms began breaking down the alien transmissions, complex communication systems that combined mathematical precision with biological nuance. Most species would have taken months, if not years, to begin decoding such advanced communication. Humanity did it in minutes. Pattern recognition complete, Chen announced. The alien messages were simultaneously a declaration of war and a demand for surrender. Standard conquest protocol for the collective, a system that had worked with terrifying efficiency across multiple galactic sectors. They didn't know they were speaking to humanity. Sarah Nakamura's voice was calm, almost clinical. Fold spectrum analysis. I want to know everything about these transmissions. The monitoring center became a hive of activity. Quantum computers processed alien communications faster than the collective could generate them. Each broadcast was not just analyzed. It was dissected, understood, and prepared for potential counteraction. Outside the facility, the Chilean landscape remained unchanged. Mountainous terrain and dense vegetation concealed the most advanced communication monitoring station in human history. To any external observer, this was nothing more than a research station. The alien fleet continued its approach, broadcasting demands of surrender in multiple communication frequencies. Mathematical precision met biological arrogance. They had conquered civilizations with this approach for centuries. They had never met humanity. Begin secondary communication protocol, Nakamura commanded. What happened next would be recorded as one of the most significant moments in human history. The monitoring center didn't just receive the alien transmissions. It began to send responses, not of fear, not of submission, but of calculated, cold precision. Mathematical sequences that perfectly mirrored and then subtly disrupted the alien communication patterns. Information streams that contained layers of meaning, some immediately apparent, others hidden beneath quantum-encoded messages that would take years to fully decode. The collective's communication began to fragment. Their precise, mechanical broadcasts started showing signs of confusion. Quantum-level interference that seemed to come from nowhere began disrupting their communication networks. It was subtle at first, minor signal degradations that would be imperceptible to most species. But the collective was about to learn that humanity's true strength wasn't in raw military power. It was in the ability to turn communication itself into a weapon. The alien fleet continued its approach, unaware that every transmission, every signal, was being turned against them. Humanity wasn't just listening. Humanity was preparing. And the universe was about to witness something unprecedented. The moment of first strike was a symphony of technological perfection that would redefine the concept of warfare. Aboard the collective's flagship, Grand Admiral Krelnax watched the solar system approach with the cold calculation of a species that had conquered hundreds of worlds. Holographic displays showed precise invasion vectors, attack formations developed over centuries of galactic conquest. Each ship was a marvel of technological engineering, weapon systems that had broken the resistance of countless civilizations. They never saw it coming. The first wave of defense platforms emerged from absolute nothingness. Quantum camouflage systems that could bend light, energy, and spatial perception dropped their concealment simultaneously. To the alien fleet, it was as if entire weapon platforms materialized from the vacuum of space itself. Plasma cannons fired with a precision that defied the laws of traditional physics. Lieutenant Rebecca Thompson sat in the primary control center, her hands moving with a ballet of technological coordination that blended human intuition with computational perfection. Each weapon platform was more than just a defensive system. They were living, thinking extensions of humanity's collective will. "Targeting sequence initiated," she announced, her voice calm despite the magnitude of what was about to happen. The first strikes were surgical. Not random bombardment, but a calculated dismantling of the alien fleet's communication and navigation systems. Quantum-entangled weapons that could strike multiple points simultaneously, rendering entire squadrons of warships inoperable before their crews could even comprehend the attack. Grand Admiral Krelnax watched in mounting horror as his perfectly calculated invasion plan began to unravel. The human defense system didn't just respond to the invasion. It anticipated it. Prediction algorithms calculated and countered alien maneuvers faster than biological intelligence could process. Entire squadrons of collective warships began to disintegrate, not through brute force, but through a level of technological sophistication that bordered on the incomprehensible. Each defense platform was a marvel of human engineering, metamaterial construction that could absorb, redirect, and neutralize energy weapons. Quantum lock shield systems that could prevent damage at the molecular level. Adaptive weapon platforms that could recalibrate faster than the alien ships could change their attack vectors. "They're not just defending," Dr. Michael Chen muttered from the monitoring station. "They're systematically dismantling our entire invasion strategy." The human response was cold, calculated, precise. Aboard the Collected's flagship, communication channels erupted in panic. Their most advanced warships, vessels that had conquered entire star systems, were being neutralized with a level of efficiency that seemed impossible. Lieutenant Thompson's fingers danced across the interface. Each movement was a strategic decision that rippled across the battlefield. Weapon platforms communicated instantaneously, sharing tactical information faster than the speed of light. The entire human defense network moved as a single living organism. Krelnax couldn't comprehend what was happening. In centuries of galactic conquest, no species had ever mounted such a response. Their invasion tactics had been perfected over generations, mathematically precise, technologically superior. They had never encountered humanity. The plasma strikes continued. Not random bombardment, but a surgical dismantling of the invasion fleet. Communication networks were the first to fall. Navigation systems became useless. Entire squadrons found themselves stranded, cut off, unable to coordinate. 50% of invasion fleet neutralized, a computer-generated voice announced. The space around the solar system became a graveyard of alien technology. Massive warships, each one a testament to generations of technological development, reduced to floating debris, not through overwhelming force, but through a level of strategic innovation that rewrote the very understanding of warfare. Humanity wasn't just defending. They were sending a message, a warning to the universe that would echo across generations. Do not underestimate us. The battlefield transformed with each passing millisecond. Lieutenant Rebecca Thompson watched the holographic displays with an intensity that bordered on symbiosis. Her neural interface connected directly to the defense network, creating a feedback loop that blurred the line between human intuition and computational precision. Around her, the Combat Analysis Center hummed with a living, breathing intelligence that was uniquely human. Military AI systems evolved faster than biological thought could comprehend. Where alien strategists calculated, human systems anticipated. Each enemy strategy was countered before it could fully manifest. Weapon frequencies shifted at quantum speeds. Attack vectors predicted and neutralized with a precision that made traditional warfare look like primitive chess. Incoming wave detected, a computer-generated voice announced. Thompson's mind moved in perfect synchronization with the defense network. Her neural implants allowed her to process multiple strategic scenarios simultaneously, each potential outcome analyzed and countered before the collective could even initialize their attack protocols. The remaining alien fleet tried desperately to reorganize. Their communication networks, once a marvel of galactic technology, were now fragmented, disrupted by human countermeasures that seemed to predict and neutralize every possible strategic response. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the lead systems architect, monitored the global defense network from a secondary command center in the Andes Mountains. Her team had spent decades developing a combat system that was more than just a collection of weapons. It was a living, adaptive organism that could learn, predict, and respond faster than any biological intelligence. "Watch the quantum communication bands," she instructed her team. "They're trying to reorganize their command structure." The Human Defense Network was a masterpiece of collaborative intelligence. Unlike the hierarchical alien command systems, humanity's approach was decentralized, adaptive, with each defense platform capable of independent decision-making, while simultaneously maintaining a near-instantaneous collective awareness. Aboard the remaining collective warships, commanders watched in growing terror. Their most advanced predictive algorithms were being systematically dismantled. Every strategic calculation was met with a response that seemed to come from multiple directions simultaneously. Lieutenant Michael Chen, stationed at the Pacific Rim Defense Hub, tracked the alien fleet's desperate attempts to regroup. "They're running quantum probability simulations," he called out. "But our systems are already 10 steps ahead." The battlefield was more than a physical space. It was a complex ecosystem of information, energy, and strategic potential. Human defense platforms communicated through quantum-entangled networks that defied traditional understanding of communication and distance. Massive weapon systems that appeared to be simple satellites or communication arrays could transform in milliseconds. Metamaterial constructions that could absorb, redirect, and neutralize energy weapons. Shield systems that could prevent damage at the molecular level. Each platform was a living, thinking entity that could adapt faster than the alien fleet could comprehend. 65% of remaining invasion fleet neutralized, the computer announced. The collective's invasion strategy, perfected over centuries of galactic conquest, was being systematically dismantled by a species they had considered primitive. Every tactical advantage they had relied on for generations was being turned against them. Rebecca Thompson's neural interface pulsed with a series of strategic calculations. Her human intuition merged with computational precision, creating a level of strategic thinking that transcended traditional biological limitations. She wasn't just controlling the defense network, she was becoming part of it. "Prepare quantum disruption sequence," she commanded. The remaining alien warships began to experience system-wide failures, not through brute force, but through a level of technological sophistication that seemed to manipulate the very fabric of their technological infrastructure. Dr. Rodriguez watched the global defense network with a sense of cautious pride. This was more than just a defensive action. It was a demonstration of humanity's true potential. The ability to transform, to adapt, to turn even the most advanced technological systems into a canvas for human innovation. The universe was watching. Humanity was rewriting the rules of warfare. And they were just getting started. What the alien civilizations failed to understand was humanity's most potent weapon, an almost irrational combination of adaptability, determination, and innovative thinking that defied every known computational model. In the secondary command center beneath the Cheyenne Mountain complex, Admiral Elena Rodriguez studied the evolving battlefield with a calm that belied the magnitude of the conflict. Her team represented a cross-section of human potential: engineers, mathematicians, psychologists, and strategic analysts who understood that warfare was more than just mathematical calculations. "They're trying to predict our next move," Dr. Robert Chen muttered, analyzing the alien fleet's communication patterns. "But they're looking for logic. We don't do logic. We do something else entirely." That something else was the quintessential human capacity to break rules, to find solutions that no rational system would ever consider. A young communications specialist, Maya Patel, noticed an anomaly in the alien fleet's quantum communication network, where a traditional military would follow strict protocol. She initiated a series of seemingly random communication pulses that would have made no sense to a computational system. The results were immediate and spectacular. The alien fleet's communication networks began to fragment in ways that their most advanced predictive algorithms could not comprehend. Maya had essentially created a linguistic virus, a communication pattern that exploited the rigid, rule-based communication systems of the collective. "It's not about having the most powerful weapon," Admiral Rodriguez explained to her team. "It's about understanding that the most powerful weapon is the human mind." Each defense platform, each weapon system, carried more than just technological sophistication. They carried the collective creativity of a species that had survived by constantly reimagining its own limitations. Where alien civilizations saw warfare as a mathematical equation, humans saw it as an art form. Lieutenant Michael Chen, coordinating fighter squadrons, demonstrated this perfectly. When standard defensive protocols suggested retreat, he initiated a series of maneuvers that would be considered suicidal by any computational analysis. Quantum-linked fighters moved in patterns that seemed to defy the basic understanding of spatial dynamics. The remaining collective warships watched in growing confusion. Their invasion strategies, developed over centuries of galactic conquest, were being systematically dismantled by a species that seemed to treat warfare as an improvisational performance. Dr. Elena Rodriguez's team had spent decades developing a defense network that was more than just a collection of weapons. It was a living, breathing ecosystem of human potential. Each system could learn, adapt, and most importantly, imagine solutions that no rational computation would ever consider. "We're not just defending," she told her team. "We're demonstrating the true potential of biological intelligence." The human variable manifested in ways the collective could not comprehend. A fighter pilot would make a split-second decision based on intuition. An engineer would modify a weapon system using a creative approach that no algorithm could predict. A communication specialist would send a message that was simultaneously a weapon, a distraction, and a work of linguistic art. Aboard the remaining collective warships, commanders watched in growing terror. Their most advanced predictive systems were being rendered useless by an approach to warfare that seemed to operate outside the boundaries of rational thought. The defense platforms were more than just technological marvels. They were canvases for human creativity. Metamaterial constructions that could transform not just in response to threats, but in ways that seemed to anticipate potential conflict before it could even manifest. Lieutenant Rebecca Thompson's neural interface pulsed with a combination of computational precision and human intuition. She wasn't just controlling the defense network, she was having a conversation with it, introducing elements of unpredictability that made the entire system fundamentally unknowable. 75% of invasion fleet neutralized, the computer announced. But the numbers didn't tell the full story. This wasn't just a military victory. It was a demonstration of humanity's true potential. The ability to transform, to adapt, to turn even the most advanced technological systems into a playground for human imagination. The universe was watching, and humanity was rewriting the very understanding of conflict. Unpredictable, unstoppable, unbound by the limitations that constrained every other known civilization. The invasion fleet, once a terrifying armada of 10,000 ships, was reduced to barely 500 functional vessels. Alien communication channels erupted with panic, with calls for retreat, with desperate attempts to comprehend how a species they had dismissed could turn the most sophisticated invasion force in galactic history into cosmic debris. Earth's response was elegant in its simplicity. This is our home. We do not start wars. We finish them. The silence after the battle was more profound than the conflict itself. Barely 50 of the collective's warships limped away from the solar system, their once proud technological marvel reduced to barely functional husks. Each vessel carried the weight of a civilization's collective humiliation, a moment that would be remembered as the day everything changed. Admiral Elena Rodriguez stood in the primary command center, watching the retreating alien fleet through quantum-enhanced observation systems. Her team moved with a calm that belied the magnitude of what had just occurred. They hadn't just defended Earth. They had sent a message that would echo across the galaxy. "Prepare the transmission," she commanded. Dr. Michael Chen began encoding a message that would be broadcast across multiple communication spectrums. Not a threat, not a declaration of war, but a clear, unequivocal statement of human potential. The global defense network began to recalibrate. Thousands of platforms that had been invisible during the conflict slowly returned to their concealed states. Satellites that appeared to be simple communication arrays transformed, their metamaterial constructions shifting with a fluidity that defied traditional understanding of technology. Lieutenant Rebecca Thompson reviewed the final battle analytics. The numbers were staggering. 10,000 alien warships reduced to barely 50 functional vessels, not through overwhelming force, but through a level of strategic innovation that rewrote the very understanding of technological warfare. "We're not just sending a message to the collective," Thompson explained to her team. "We're sending a message to every civilization watching." Quantum communication networks began broadcasting the summary of the conflict, not as a boastful declaration, but as a clinical, almost academic presentation of what had occurred. Each transmission was a masterpiece of information warfare, simultaneously a warning, a demonstration, and an invitation to understand. In research facilities around the world, scientists and military strategists began analyzing every moment of the conflict. The defense network had been more than just a collection of weapons. It was a living, breathing ecosystem of human potential. Dr. Elena Rodriguez called a global conference. Representatives from every major nation gathered, not through traditional means, but via a quantum communication network that allowed instantaneous, secure communication. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer just a planetary species. We were a galactic power. The broadcast to the retreating collective fleet was elegant in its simplicity. "This is our home. We do not seek conflict, but we will defend ourselves with a creativity and determination that defies comprehension. Let this be a warning to any who would consider us a target." Quantum analysis centers began breaking down every moment of the conflict. How had a species considered primitive by galactic standards managed such a comprehensive defense? The answer lay in something no computational system could fully understand: human creativity. Lieutenant Maya Patel, the communications specialist who had developed the linguistic disruption protocols, became an instant legend within the defense community. Her approach had gone beyond traditional military thinking, treating communication itself as a weapon, a canvas for human innovation. The global defense network began to slowly recalibrate. Platforms that had been actively defending transformed back into seemingly innocent satellites and communication arrays. To any external observer, it would appear as if nothing extraordinary had happened. But the galaxy would remember. Quantum communication networks carried the story across multiple star systems, not as a boastful declaration, but as a clinical presentation of capabilities. Each transmission was carefully constructed, a warning, a demonstration, an invitation to understand. "We are not looking for conflict," the transmission stated, "but we are prepared to defend ourselves in ways you cannot comprehend." The remaining collective vessels continued their retreat, their communication channels filled with a mixture of terror, confusion, and a growing understanding that they had encountered something fundamentally different. Humanity had just redefined the very understanding of technological conflict. In research facilities, military installations, and quantum communication centers around the world, a sense of quiet pride emerged. This wasn't just a defensive victory. This was a demonstration of human potential. The stars themselves seemed to whisper a new truth. Beware the species that turns waiting into an art form. Beware the civilization that can transform technological conflict into a canvas of unimaginable creativity. Humanity was here, and we were just getting started.